Peace! Hi everybody, my name is Niall Sebastian Powersieger. My Facebook page is Niall Powersieger, and today I want to talk about my ghost experience. So my experience with creatures which have lived as humans before and then lost their human body, or which have lived as animals before and then lost their animal body, or which have lived as plants before and lost their plant body, or with creatures which do not belong to them and which do not have their own body. So there are some creatures which never lived as humans before, or as plants or as animals, but which are still in the situation that they are able to travel into bodies like a human body, to connect with the human body, with the brain, with the nerve system, with the senses of a human, and in that way they can live in human bodies. So let me speak a little bit about me first, that you get an impression who I am and what I'm doing and stuff like that. I'm Naya, and I'm in the situation since 10 years that I'm connected on a very high level with creatures which have no own body anymore, but which are able to communicate with me, which are able to travel into my human body, which are able to connect with my human brain and with my nerve system, my senses, and which are able to communicate with me by creating thoughts in my head. So if you want it like that, my body is possessed. There are many creatures living in my human body at this moment in time. That's important to understand. I came into that situation more than 10 years ago, after my mom, my human mother, died. She lost her human body, and when she died I had no contact with her, nothing, and I wanted to have contact with her, and I had the feeling inside myself and the thoughts that she still exists and that there must be a possibility to communicate. So I came into the situation that I really gave up my own life. I wanted to die at that time because I missed my mom so much. And round about 1 year after she died, I realized that creatures did travel into my human body. They entered my human body by entering my head. Then they connected to my human brain. And then I came into the situation that these creatures did start to create thoughts in my head to communicate with me. And one of the creatures I'm able to communicate with is my mom. So the creature which have lived as my human mother before her human body died. So since 10 years I'm in that situation, and I want to talk today about my experience a little bit. I want to give you some impressions about what happened in my life and all the situations I've been through, and all the events which did happen in my life, because a lot of stuff did happen in that time period. These creatures which are in my human body and which are connected to my human body in a way that they can create thoughts in my human head to communicate with me, they are also able to influence other human beings. So they are also able to travel into other human bodies to create thoughts in their human head. And I'm saying that because I want to explain to you that in the past 10 years where I'm in this situation, I could make sure that what I witnessed is not an illusion, because the same creatures which did communicate with me did also travel into the body of other humans which were in the area where I am, and did start to communicate with them. So there are a lot of witnesses. There are other humans which witnessed communication in their heads from the same creatures which were communicating with me. And also I want to inform you that I'm one of the humans who's producing ghost documentations. I do film situations since 10 years when, for example, creatures which have lived as human beings before, or as animals, as plants before, or the other creatures which do not have their own human body or a biological body, when these creatures do connect to the natural environment, to influence that, to present themselves, to show themselves, and to communicate. So I produced more than 100 documentations where, for example, creatures did connect to the natural environment, the area where I was in at that time, and where they used weather control, so wind, for example, where they triggered and canalized wind to specific plants to communicate with me. There's a little story I want to tell you. In Africa, they do live a lot of tribes which still do practice what their ancestors did practice when they want to communicate with ghosts. What they do is they put on a fire, and then they have like shamans, so special people which are able to communicate with ghosts or spirits. And these shamans have learned to outread the flames. So they put on a fire, let it grow, then they communicate with ghosts and tell the ghosts to let the flame dance in the wind. For example, in one direction if the ghosts want to say yes, or in another direction if the ghosts want to say no. And these people have learned to outread the dance of the flames to communicate with their spirits, with the ghosts. So I'm doing the same when I film documentations like that. The only difference, the small difference, is that I'm not filming fire. Most of the times I produce documentations where I film plants, like trees or environments in the whole area where many plants are. And then when the wind is getting canalized from such ghosts or creatures, when the wind is canalized to the area, the plants do start to shake in the wind. They start to react with the wind level. So I produced more than 100 documentations which are online. You can find where ghosts did present themselves and did communicate by the method that they used wind to communicate. I also produced little videos, which are maybe still online, maybe not, I don't know, where I use technical device, like machines which can measure the electronical field surrounding you, which was then influenced by ghosts, and they did influence the device I was using, so that the device got controlled by those spirits, by those ghosts, as you can see in many ghost videos when they use these little electronic devices. So I made different films. I produced documentations with peaceful communication. I did produce documentations where I got attacked by weather, so with storms, lightning, hailstorm, all that. There's a documentation online. If you search for High King Nile Gets Attacked. High King Nile is Niall. High King Nile Gets Attacked. If you search for that on YouTube, you will find one documentation, if you do deep research, where I communicate with the creature called Shakur, and then the creature, which do not have his own human body anymore, do start to influence the weather. And we have beef, like you call it, and then the creature's attacking me with the storm. So in the beginning of the video, everything is peaceful, and then the weather is changing. Lightning starts to come down, a hailstorm comes down. The wind level is raised up to a wind level where even trees did fall down. And I was in an area where a skyscraper is, a post tower it's called. It's a huge tower where a lot of glass is embedded. And you can see in the video that even the glass was shattered by the hailstorm, because the ice just went through the glass of the tower. And a lot of cars got damaged that day. So you can find videos where I get attacked with storms, or in situations where animal bodies got possessed by ghosts, and then the animal bodies attacked me. And there were situations where the same ghosts which later did attack me first were connected to my human body. I was in front of a camera. I did communicate to the camera that I'm gonna get attacked, and then the ghost took over, possessed a body of a wasp, for example, and then the wasp came to attack me. So you can find videos like that online as well. If you visit the website ciembassy.com, ciembassy.com. If you visit that website, you can find more than 100 documentation videos like that. Or if you search for me on YouTube, you can find a lot of videos. But be aware, there's some crazy videos. Some videos where I look crazy, where I behave crazy, where I talk crazy, because at that moment in time when the videos were filmed, my human body was influenced very bad. So my thoughts were controlled, my feelings were controlled, and the way I did behave in front of the camera was a situation where how I looked to others was controlled by spirits which did attack me, or which did want to make me look bad, make me look stupid, let me say it like that. So you can find different videos. Some are a little bit crazy, some do upset me, but I left them online because what happened was the truth. And you can find a lot of videos, if you do research, where ghosts or creatures which have lived as human beings before, as animals, as plants before, or which never had their own biological body, but which do exist in a situation where they see all biological bodies as their body, because they're able to travel in it and to overtake the bodies or to control them. So I'm since 10 years in the situation that I'm connected on that high level in a way that I can recognize it with such creatures. And I have a lot of experience in that area. And today I want to speak a little bit about my experience. Where should I start? Because it's so much. First of all, when creatures do connect to my brain, they are able to create thoughts in my head. And in that way they can communicate with me. So I'm in a situation, for example, that 1 second there's a thought in my head where somebody else is talking to me, and the next thought in my head is created by myself. No, it's reflecting what I would like to answer as myself over my human brain to the other creatures, the truth. Because our thoughts as humans, even if you don't realize it, if you don't recognize it, and if you can't be aware of it, because there's some kind of protection in you, our thoughts are mostly reflecting us as creatures in the best cases, and they are created by others very, very often. Not always, but very, very often. So we do not control our human body, is the message, as much as we normally think we do. But important to understand is also that when creatures influence the thoughts of a human, when they're connected to the human brain, they do that, they often do it in a way that the human himself or herself thinks that these are her or his own thoughts. So in that way, most of the people can't identify these thoughts as thoughts created by third creatures. So the creatures which are connected to my human body, they can only create thoughts in my human head to communicate with me. They also can connect to my nerve system. And in that way, they can create pain. They also can create the way I see and feel things. So they can create the feelings I then recognize as my own feelings in the first moment, as long as I don't realize these are created feelings by third creatures which are using my human body. So it's a little bit complex. I'm sorry for that. It's very complex, actually. Hopefully you can follow and understand everything. I'm trying my best here to explain it. So me as a human, I'm in the situation that I can communicate with my ancestors, which is very positive. So my mom who died, my grandma who died, my other grandma who died, my granddad who died, and one uncle who died. I'm also able to communicate with other creatures I did not know before. And when I produced documentations where creatures, ghosts, presented themselves and communicated in a way that it could get filmed, the videos you find on www.ciembassy.com. So these videos you will recognize that a lot of creatures which communicate there have been popular during their lifetime as humans. So there was a huge project going on in the past where a lot of famous creatures did contacted me, traveled into my human body, did connect to my human brain, did communicate with me, to produce video documentations where in the video documentation they influence the natural environment to communicate. For example, by using the method wind. So that I filmed me in front of the camera explaining what my thoughts are. For example, that my thought was now they're gonna create wind to say, yes, it's me, and then they created the wind which could get filmed. So you have videos where you have me communicating what the creature gonna do in the future, in the short future, and then you see the reaction of the creature doing that. And that also brings proof that these creatures do exist, and that what I realize, what I witness as a human, is not only imagination. It's not only an illusion. So that's why it was very important for me in the past 10 years to produce data where these creatures find ways to present themselves and to communicate outside of my human body as well, so that I can speak what they want to communicate. One thing. The second thing, that they also present data and create data where they bring proof that they exist outside of my human body. So you can find these videos, proof videos of ghost existence and ghost communications on www.ciembassy.com. And important to understand, when they use, for example, the method wind by canalizing, triggering wind, for example, to plants, these videos are sometimes 1 hour long, sometimes 1.5 hours long, and they're filmed in one piece. So you have different camera perspectives, it's split screen, and you can see how they influence an area by canalizing wind, for example, for over 1 hour on point. So where I communicate, can you send a higher wind level now? And then they do it. And it goes on, it goes on, it goes on, over an hour sometimes 1.5 hours. So to repeat that the whole time, to do it again and again and again, is important for scientists, so that scientists can realize, okay, it's not just one wind wave coming and the rest was just something. No, it's communication, and it's important to film it in a way that it goes on for an hour or something, so to repeat that procedure so that the people which are watching the videos can understand it. So that's what I did for 10 years. And I produced a Facebook page, which I deleted, an old one. And I produced a new Facebook page, which is Nile Power Sieger, where you can also find a lot of these videos. I repeat, Nile Power Sieger, it's written Niall, then power like the power, Sieger is Sieger. There you can find me on Facebook. So I want to speak a little bit about my daily life. First of all, I'm one of the humans who's getting attacked often. And there are different reasons why creatures or ghosts do attack humans. When I get attacked, I want to describe that. That can be that the creature is connecting to my human brain, to my nerve system, and then creating very negative, mean thoughts in my head. Communicate mean stuff towards me in my head. And by being connected to my nerve system, they can create pain on a low level or on a very high level. Even on such a high level that you normally would fall into a coma and then die as a human. So that pain can be, it can be pain over here just a little bit, or it can be pain through my whole body. So it can be a small area or the whole body, depends on the situation. I get attacked for different reasons, or I got attacked in the past for different reasons. One of the reasons is I do eat meat. So I came into the situation that creatures which have lived as animals before did attack me before, because I did eat meat. And these creatures communicated then before they did attack me over my nerve system in a way that I felt pain. They did communicate me, for example, that they're gonna attack me because they have lived as a pig or as a cow before and were treated very bad by humans. So creatures which do not like humans anymore because of their experience in their past life. I got attacked for private reasons. See, there's a situation, I as a human, I love, I as a creature and as a human, let me say it like that. So me now, I do love a woman on planet Earth. Sometimes I get I get attacked from female creatures which are connecting to my human body and then start to torturing me over the nerve system because they do want me to stop to think about her. So it can be reasons like that too. And what's important to realize is that often when I get attacked, there's no reason mentioned. So I experienced often situations where creatures connect to my body, start to torture me over the nerve system, then I ask them what's going on and if they have a reason for it. And what's then communicated to me is that there's no reason existing, that these creatures just like to fuck up humans, to torture humans, to create pain. So my experience is that since 10 years I get attacked on a daily basis, if you want it like that. By the way, I rolled a cigarette. If you don't mind, I'm gonna take a sip of this beautiful back spear and I'm gonna enjoy a cigarette during I speak to you. So often there's no specific reason why I get attacked, but there are also situations where the creatures which do attack me do give me a reason why they attack. Regarding the attacks, some of the attacks I could film. For example, I could film situations when creatures traveled into my human body, communicated to me that they're gonna attack me. I was in front of the camera, so I made that transparent at that time. And I communicated, for example, they're gonna attack me with the wasp, so that insect which can sting you. Then they left my human body, possessed the body of a wasp, and attacked me in front of the camera. These are videos you can find online. You also can find online on YouTube if you do a deep research. You have to do a deep research with my name, the tags, ghosts, attacks, and stuff like that. You have to enter all that keywords. You can also find a video where I get attacked with a storm. If you enter on YouTube, Hi King Nile gets attacked. Hi King Nile, Niall, gets attacked. If you enter that on YouTube and you do deep research, you can find a video where I get attacked with a hailstorm, lightning, thunder, and a storm. So I often was in the situation where I got attacked. That's the sad thing about my experience with ghosts or with such creatures as I described before. But there are also positive things. As I said, I can communicate with my own ancestors, which is very positive, which makes me very happy. But there's also important to understand, for example, if my mom travels into my body, connects to my nerve system and to my feelings, to my thoughts, to live, to use my senses, to live her own life by living in my human body and using my senses. And if I then come into a situation where another creature also travels into my body and connects to my nerve system to attack me with pain, that's important to understand. Your ancestors can come into the situation that they live in your body, you get attacked, and they suffer from that too, because they are then connected to your nerve system and the way you see and feel things, and then they suffer from it as well if you get attacked at the same time. So that did happen a couple of times in my lifetime as well, and in the lifetime of my mom. Sorry, I'm smoking. They are also good experience. What many of you cannot imagine is if you're not in a situation that your body is possessed or that you do not have the experience, like me or other people which do have that kind of experience. What many of you cannot imagine is that it's possible to have sex with creatures. What I mean with that is it's possible that if you like a female creature, in my case because I'm not gay, not even with ghosts, but for them it's possible to travel into my human body, to connect to my brain and my nerve system and all that, and it's possible for them to stimulate my body sexually in a way that the orgasm you can have as a man is even 100 times stronger than a normal orgasm. These are the ideal situations regarding sex. Most of the time it's normal sex, where you get influenced, where your sexual feelings get triggered. Maybe you have a film inside your head, like a little porn, and the creature is communicating with you and have sex with you by influencing your human body. So that's a thing which might be positive news for a lot of you. I don't know. I don't know. Hard for you to imagine. I just smiled. If you rewind the video in 30 seconds, I just smiled. That was not my smile. That was the smile of the creature which used my human face, which is connected to my human body and which is in my human body because of the stuff I did speak out. So that wasn't my smile, even if my face was smiling. So when creatures are connected to the brain, they can give the human body orders by using the brain, by giving the brain an order. And then your muscles starts to reflect that order. And you start, for example, to smile. I once even was in the situation, which is very mean and very bad, where one creature killed me as a creature in my human body. So which killed me, Nile, the creature, who was born in that human body, to overtake my human body at the same second. So I lost consciousness, I had no consciousness, nothing, and I came back to life. My consciousness came back in a situation where the other creature was controlling my body and was walking with my body on the street. Very harmful, very painful experience, very mean. It's like 100% rape of your own body, how you feel it. That's what I felt. 100% rape. My body got stolen. So I also had to witness that once. It's not only a little smile. There can happen much, much more if your body becomes possessed. Important to understand it is that, see, I'm not possessed by one creature. I'm in a situation that there are some creatures, so more than one, which do live in my human body for a longer time. Creatures which are intelligent, which are smart, which can communicate with me by creating thoughts, which can influence my way how I see things, how I feel things, which can influence my nerve system, and which can create pain. But I'm also in the situation, beside that other creatures do come and go. What I mean with that is that they travel into my human body, communicate with me, stay for an hour, maybe 30 minutes, and then they leave again. What most people can't imagine is that ghosts, spirits, if they're connected to a human body, they often have simple wishes. Let me say it like that. For example, what kind of food can we eat? Because they don't have their own body anymore, so they use human bodies to eat. They connect to the brain, and then they have the senses they can use, the taste and everything, so they can enjoy food. So I'm often in the situation that creatures contact me that they want to eat something I have in my household. For example, a chicken or a salad or stuff like that. And then when I do eat in the evening, I do prepare sometimes the meals depending on the requests I have in my human head. That's how I create my meals. I do cook for others as well, which use my human body to consume, to eat, to drink. And one experience I also have, which is very negative for me, because I don't use cocaine. I smoke weed, but I don't use cocaine. There was one female creature. She was also very popular during her lifetime, but that's another story. So she connected to my human body and lived in my human body for a while. And she triggered me. There was a time years ago where she triggered me to consume cocaine the whole time. I don't use cocaine, so I don't like cocaine, and I have not used it at that time. But I was very worried that she would influence my human body so badly that I then would take cocaine without realizing it with my consciousness, because they're even capable of doing that. So there are good and bad things about the situation I'm in. Being in a situation that my human body is possessed by other creatures. The worst thing are the attacks. The attacks are very, very negative. And in the beginning it was very, very harmful. It was very hard, because all of us have a picture as humans of ourselves. You know, we think normally, in a normal life, we think we control our thoughts, we think we control our body, stuff like that. I lived a normal life before I came into this situation as well. And then everything switched, everything changed. So I came into the situation where I had to realize, no, I'm not controlling my thoughts anymore. Some of them, yeah, but not all of them. A lot of them not. I do not control the movement of my face anymore, 100%, which feels like rape. The same with the movement of my body, the rest of my body. So that was very painful, that it led to a situation where I feel really raped and ashamed for a long, long time. So very negative and very bad experience. And there are also things, if you come into a situation like me, there are also things where you get afraid of. I'm not a guy who gets easily afraid. Let me say it like that. I'm not just saying that, it's true. But I was very, very afraid a long time that somebody would come and some creature would come and overtake my human body and would harm other humans with my human body, so that I then would get arrested and would come into a psycho situation with the psycho hospital where I would get locked up. And I was already locked up in my life because other creatures did influence my human body. But at that time I did not hurt other humans, but I still got locked up. So I was in a psychiatric unit for 3 weeks. And 2 days I was like that, fixated. So I have very bad experience and some good experience, and I'm very happy that I can communicate with my ancestors. That's the best thing of all. But